Every morning, millions of people who claim they have no time find time for Wordle. And then they feel a little guilty about it, like it's a distraction, a waste, a sign they're not being productive enough. But what if it isn't? What if the reason your brain reaches for Wordle, or Duolingo, or the mini crossword, or any game that gives you a small, satisfying hit of completion? Because that is exactly what the neuroscience of motivation and reward suggests. And once you understand what your brain is actually seeking, it changes how you think about productivity, engagement, and why so many smart, capable people feel strangely flat at the end of a full workday. Let's start by actually understanding why Wordle works. Not why it's popular, why it feels good. Because the answer is more specific than you might think. Wordle delivers 4 things in under 3 minutes that the brain finds deeply satisfying. Clear rules, a defined endpoint, immediate, unambiguous feedback, and a sense of genuine progress toward a known goal. That combination is not trivia. Research on motivation and the brain consistently shows that these are the exact conditions under which dopamine, the neurotransmitter most associated with motivation, drive, and reward, is most reliably released. Not just when you win, but throughout the process of making progress toward a clear goal. Neuroscience research on reward and goal-directed behavior has shown that the dopamine system responds strongly to feedback that tells you you're getting closer. The yellow tile, the narrowing possibilities, the moment the word clicks. Each of those is a small neurological reward, a signal that says, you're doing it, keep going, you're almost there. And when the green tiles land and the grid completes, that is your brain experiencing exactly the kind of closure it is wired to seek. Now, contrast the Wordle experience with a typical workday. How many of the things you did today had a clear endpoint? How many gave you immediate, unambiguous feedback that you did them well? How many felt genuinely complete when you stopped? For most knowledge workers, the honest answer is not many. Modern work is often characterized by the opposite of what the brain finds motivating. Unclear goals, shifting priorities, delayed or absent feedback, tasks that are never fully done. Progress that is invisible or unmeasured. Research on workplace motivation has identified what organizational psychologists describe as the progress principle. The finding that the single most powerful driver of positive emotion, motivation, and engagement at work is simply making progress on meaningful work. Not recognition, not perks, not salary alone. Progress. Visible, felt, real progress. And when that progress is absent, when work feels like an endless stream of inputs with no sense of forward movement, the brain goes looking for it somewhere else. Your Wordle streak is not a character flaw. It is a symptom of a motivation gap. There is a specific neurological experience that happens when you complete something, and it is different from simply being busy. Research on what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect established something important. The brain holds incomplete tasks in active working memory, creating low-grade cognitive tension until they are resolved. That tension is not neutral. It consumes attention. It generates background anxiety. It contributes to the feeling of mental clutter that many people carry through their days. Completion releases that tension. It signals the brain that this loop is closed, that cognitive resources can be freed. That is part of why crossing something off a list feels disproportionately satisfying, and part of why a 3-minute word game can feel more rewarding than 8 hours of meetings. The meetings generated more open loops. Wordle closed one. Cleanly, completely, with no ambiguity about whether you succeeded. When work is structured in ways that rarely allow for genuine completion, when tasks bleed into each other, goals shift before they're reached, and feedback arrives too late or not at all, the brain's need for closure goes chronically unmet, and that has consequences that go well beyond mild frustration. There are two more things brain games deliver that workplaces often don't: autonomy and mastery. Decades of research on human motivation, including foundational work in self-determination theory, has consistently identified autonomy and competence as two of the most powerful drivers of intrinsic motivation. Autonomy is the experience of genuine choice, of feeling like your actions are self-directed rather than imposed. Mastery is the experience of getting better, of feeling your skill increasing through effort and practice. Wordle and games like it gives you both. You choose when to play. You choose your opening word. You develop strategies. You feel yourself improving. No one is watching. No one is evaluating. No one is changing the rules halfway through. Compare that to many workplace experiences. Priorities set by others, methods dictated from above, feedback that is inconsistent, delayed, or absent, skills that feel static because the work never changes. Research consistently shows that when people experience low autonomy and limited opportunity for mastery at work, motivation drops. Not because people become lazy, but because the brain's intrinsic drive system is simply not being activated. Brain games don't create the need for autonomy and mastery. They reveal it. They show you what your brain is capable of feeling when the conditions are right. Employee engagement research has produced some of the most consistently alarming findings in organizational psychology. Across decades of global surveys, the majority of workers report feeling either not engaged or actively disengaged from their work. Not unhappy necessarily, just absent, present in body, elsewhere in mind. And the explanation most organizations reach for, bad attitudes, generational differences, people just not trying hard enough, is not what the research supports. What the research supports is a structural mismatch between what the human brain needs to feel motivated and engaged and what most modern work environments are actually designed to provide: clear goals, feedback, autonomy, mastery, progress, meaning. These are not perks. They are the basic operating conditions for a motivated brain. And when they are absent, the brain disengages. Not out of laziness, out of self-protection. Disengagement is the nervous system's way of conserving resources in an environment that offers effort without reward. There is a state that researchers have spent decades studying, a state where work feels effortless, time disappears, and performance peaks. It's called flow, and the conditions required to produce it are remarkably similar to what brain games deliver. Research on flow states has consistently identified the same prerequisites: a clear goal, immediate feedback, and a challenge level that is high enough to require full engagement, but not so high that it triggers anxiety. That last part is important. Flow does not happen when work is too easy. It does not happen when work is too hard. It happens in the narrow band where skill meets challenge, where you are stretched just enough to be fully present. Brain games operate in exactly that band, hard enough to require thought, easy enough to feel winnable. Most workplaces, by contrast, swing between two extremes that both destroy flow: chronic overload, too much, too fast, with too little support, or chronic under-challenge, repetitive tasks that don't require full cognitive engagement. Neither produces flow. Both produce disengagement, frustration, and the persistent background sensation that something is missing, even when you can't name what it is. Here is what this is not saying. It is not saying that work should be gamified. Point systems, leaderboards, badges, these can be useful in specific contexts, but they are not the answer. Because what makes brain games satisfying is not the game mechanics. It is the underlying cognitive conditions those mechanics create: clarity, feedback, autonomy, a sense of progress, completion. Those conditions can exist in any kind of work. A meeting that ends with a clear decision is completion. A manager who tells you specifically what went well is feedback. A project where you have genuine input into how it gets done is autonomy. A role where you can see yourself growing is mastery. These are not complicated interventions, but they require workplaces and individuals to be intentional about something most organizations treat as secondary: the psychological experience of the person doing the work, not just the output, the experience.
If any of this resonated, if you recognize the feeling of reaching for a brain game because work isn't giving your brain what it needs, that recognition matters because it points towards something specific, not a productivity hack, not a better morning routine.
A structural question about whether the environment you're working in is actually designed to support human motivation. And that question is worth taking seriously. Many workplaces offer resources specifically designed to support this: coaching, leadership development, well-being programs, employee assistance programs, mental health support. These aren't just for crisis moments. They exist to help people understand themselves, their work, and the conditions under which they actually thrive. Using them is not an admission that something is wrong.
It is a recognition that the brain has needs, and that meeting those needs is the foundation of sustainable performance, not a distraction from it.
Your brain is not broken because it wants feedback. It is not weak because it seeks completion. It is not distracted because it gravitates toward games that give it clarity, autonomy, and a sense of progress. It is doing exactly what a healthy, motivated brain is supposed to do.
Looking for the conditions under which it can perform. The question is not how to stop reaching for Wordle or brain games like it. The question is what it would take for your work to give your brain more of what those games already do: clarity, feedback, progress, completion. Small, real, daily wins that tell your nervous system, you're doing it. Keep going. You're almost there. If this landed for you, subscribe. More videos on motivation, cognitive performance, workplace well-being, and the neuroscience of how we work are coming. And if your workplace offers coaching, well-being support, or an employee assistance program, use it. Not because something is wrong, because your brain is worth investing in before burnout forces the conversation.